Okay. All right, so next, there we go. All right, so here's the next example. Now we want the equation of a circle. The center there is -2, -8, and now the radius is going to be 4. Okay. -2, -8, the radius is 4. I did rewrite the general equation here, and the idea is really the same as with the previous example. HK we have, okay, is -2, -8. Right? This is the center, HK. We want the center to be -2, -8. So we just set them equal. Because this is the center, and we want this to equal -2, -8. And just like before, that tells us the x coordinates must equal, so h must equal to -2. In fact, we must have h equal to -2. K must equal to -8. The y coordinates have to equal each other. That's why we get this. Wait, let me get that. That's how we get this. Okay? And so basically we replace that, and that's what into the formula, and that's what I'm doing here. H is -2, K is -8. Okay? The radius is 4, so it's going to equal to 4 squared. Now, a better way to write it, it's not really the best to write it as minus a negative. That's why I have the plus down here. But if you did want to know what this, what do you call it, the center is, you want to make sure you have minus though. So if you want to actually read off it and get the center, you want to make sure you have minus. That is, if you have addition here, you want to convert that to minus. So this you would think of as x minus -2, y minus -8, if you're reading off it to get the center. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay, I really hope that makes sense. Again, even though I wrote it as minus a negative, this is minus a negative. It's not really theoretically wrong, but I think it's just better to write it as plus. But again, if you want to read off of it to get the center, and you see plus here, you want to think of plus as minus the negative. All right, that's one example. I mean, that's another example. Let's do one more. Okay. All right, so here, what we want to do is we want the equation of a circle, okay, whose center is 1, 3, and it passes through the point 5, 7. Okay. Now, this is what I meant to show. I'll show why here, let me get to Desmos to show that graph. Because that graph in Desmos is actually what I meant to show here. So let me get to that. Here it comes. Okay, let me just zoom out a little. So here we have a circle, right, whose center is 1, 3, and the radius, and 5, 7 is just another point on the circle. Well, if we want an equation of this circle, what we're missing is the radius, right? We saw to get an equation of a circle, you need the center and you need the radius. Now, can we get the radius? Well, yeah. The radius is just the distance from the center to any point on the circle. So even though I didn't draw that line segment here, I'm not sure in Desmos it's easy to draw that line segment, but hopefully you can still see, though, that if we can get the length from 1, 3 to 5, 7, from the center to 5, 7, that distance is equal to the radius. So let's get that distance. That's really what I'm trying to say here. Hope that made sense. Let me stop this. Get back to the lecture notes. There we go. Okay. Wait, did everyone see it? Yeah, okay, everyone sees it. But basically, since 1, 3 is on the, 1, 3 is on the circle, is the center of the circle. 5, 7 is a point on the circle. The distance between them equals the radius. And that's really what we're missing, the radius. So we can calculate that. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I say, okay, let P be one of the points and Q is the other point. We want the distance then between P and Q. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so here is how we calculate it. You know, we're using the distance formula. And you can see we have 1 minus 5 squared, right? You subtract one x coordinate from the other, square that difference. Subtract one y coordinate from the other, square that difference. Add the squares, right? Both of them turn out to be -4 squared. You add them, okay? And we get the square root of 32. So again, we subtract one x coordinate from the other. Really doesn't matter what order because we're squaring. Same thing with the y coordinates. We have the squares, we add them, and then we take a square root. So the radius here is the square root of 32. And so an equation of that circle, again, the center we have here is 1, 3. So that's our center, which is also hk. So h is 1, k is 3. And the radius is the square root of 32. But when you square a square root, essentially the square root symbol goes away. And that's why we get this. Okay. All right, so that's good. Okay, so that's basically it for this section. So what I want to do now is start the next one. I will post these notes when I can. I mean, what I probably could do is email them. I just have to tweak them up a bit before I post them on Blackboard. So I will do that as well. Let me just share the lecture notes here. But this is what we're going to start today. There we go. But this is what I'm going to start with today. Again, I didn't think I would get up to here, but I was wrong. But let me ask this, though. Here, let me just do a poll. Wait. Okay. No, I guess we're doing all right.